Things are moving full steam ahead in Austin. So far, state lawmakers have filed around 3,500 separate pieces of legislation, with a whole lot more expected in the near future. With so many bills moving through the process, it can be hard to stay on top of things, but TPPF is doing its part to help the public stay informed by asking a few friends to stop by on occasion and tell us about the liberty-minded legislation they're working on to keep Texas moving in the right direction. This is the layout. I'm James Quintero, Policy Director for the Government for the People campaign, and today I'm joined by Chairman Dustin Burrows, who joins us from House District 83. Mr. Chairman, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be on.
Today we're going to be talking about HB 2127, which is otherwise known as the Texas Regulatory Consistency Act. Mr. Chairman, can you tell me what the problem is that we're trying to address with this bill?
Absolutely. And we've seen this over and over and over again. We see, typically it's our cities, our more progressive urban centers beginning to pass all sorts of things they historically have never touched before. Whether it's the Green New Deal in Dallas trying to ban gas-powered lawnmowers or fracking bans out of Denton, or labor union bills out of Harris County and the city of Houston. Things that we've just never seen cities embark on that we regulate up here. I mean, essentially, I think it's progressive activists who cannot get their agenda through at the State House. They now go down to our city councils and get them to pass rules and ordinances which are hurting business, hurting our economy, and just inconsistent with the principles of Texas. And so the bill seeks to address that.
Good. And can you tell us a little bit about the mechanics of the bill? How does it work?
Yeah, so it's real simple, right? It says if Texas already regulates a particular industry or code, we're going to be the sole people who actually regulate it in the state of Texas, which means that we're not going to have an inconsistent patchwork of regulation ordinances across the state, so that every single business has to have a compliance officer for, say, Houston and Dallas to figure out what the codes and rules are. So we essentially just preempt them from adopting these ordinances and rules.
Sounds like a great bill. Can you tell us, if this bill were to pass into law, how do you think the average Texan would benefit?
So, this is the type of bill, reason I ran for office, a deep belief in, capitalism that has done more to provide jobs and food and economy and economic growth and opportunity for people than any other form, of government out there, any other form of market structure. And with this, what we do is we get government ordinances out of the way so small businesses can grow, can thrive. It's going to attract business and capital to Texas because we'll be a pro-business state. And what does that mean? That means higher wages, more jobs, better, competition for those type of things. And so as we're dealing with rampant inflation, all the other problems, this is actual good, sound economic policy that every Texan is going to benefit from.
Now, I can see it already. Texas's big city mayors, who of course are progressives, are going to hoot and holler about local control. How do you intend to respond to that criticism?
Well, two things. I mean, we're now dealing with, issues they have never historically dealt with in the past. Mm-hmm. I mean, 10 years ago, the idea that cities were going to have Green New Deal legislation or pro-labor legislation was unheard of and unthinkable. But, we've started to see, this beginning, small, and it just keeps growing and growing. So this is not about, this local control idea. It's about right size and where it actually belongs. It's really kind of a stay in your lane bill, which says if you run for city council or becoming a mayor, work on the roads, work on the streets, work on the things that you ran to do, and you don't have to get mixed up in this. And privately, I think a lot of these mayors and councilmen are going to be relieved, because now when these progressive activists and people with their agendas come to them, they can say, no, we cannot even talk about that because you need to go to the state capitol where this debate rightfully belongs.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell us what's been the reception so far to the bill? Because, of course, I believe I saw some good press from the National Federation of Independent Businesses and a big coalition. Has it been well received?
It's been very well received. First I've got to thank my Senate companion author, Brandon Creighton. He's actually dealt with this for multiple sessions, and he's done a phenomenal job. We saw Governor Abbott come out at the National Federation of Independent luncheon in full support of this, and we have a huge number of business groups and others saying, yes, we need this, and they've signed on to be fully supportive of this bill for the reasons we just articulated.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for stopping by. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you.